Jamal Harris never expected his life to change on an ordinary Tuesday night. Walking home from his late shift at the diner, he took a shortcut through an alleyway, a decision he would soon regret. Just as he turned a corner, he saw a well-dressed man arguing with another figure in the dim light. Before Jamal could react, a gunshot echoed through the narrow street. The well-dressed man hurriedly stuffed the gun into his coat and rushed to his car, driving away into the night. Jamal, frozen in shock, approached the fallen figure, a man in his 40s, bleeding from a chest wound. He barely managed to whisper, "Help me," before losing consciousness. Jamal called 911 and stayed with the man until paramedics arrived. What he didn't know was that by witnessing this crime, he had just placed himself in grave danger. When the police arrived, they took Jamal's statement, and within hours, detectives identified the shooter, Elliot Kingsley, a powerful businessman with deep connections. As the only eyewitness, Jamal's testimony became crucial in the case against Kingsley, who was quickly arrested but released on bail. The media exploded with the story of the businessman and the witness. However, not everyone was eager for justice. Jamal started noticing strange cars parked near his house. His phone received anonymous threats. One night, as he walked home, a black SUV followed him until he ran into a convenience store for safety. He knew then that testifying wouldn't just be a legal matter, it would be a battle for survival. 2 days before the trial, Jamal vanished. His mother, Angela Harris, panicked when he didn't return home. She called the police, but they dismissed her concerns, saying he might have skipped town out of fear. Angela knew better. Her son was no coward. Desperate, she turned to the one person she believed could help, investigative journalist Rebecca Lawson. Rebecca had built a reputation for exposing corruption and wasn't afraid to challenge the system. When Angela pleaded for help, Rebecca agreed to investigate. What she discovered was chilling. Traffic camera footage showed Jamal being forced into a van near his workplace the night before his disappearance. Yet, there were no reports, no witnesses, and no official investigations. It was as if he had been erased. Rebecca began digging into Kingsley's background. What she found was a history of silenced cases, missing evidence, and witnesses who had suddenly changed their stories. Kingsley wasn't just another criminal, he had the police, judges, and even politicians in his pocket. The deeper Rebecca went, the clearer it became that Jamal had been taken to ensure his silence. But where was he now? Using her sources, she traced the van's last known location to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. What she didn't expect was to find a scared but alive Jamal, bound and gagged in a back room. He had been held captive for days, threatened to leave the city forever or suffer a worse fate. With Rebecca's help, Jamal escaped and immediately went into hiding. Meanwhile, she published an explosive report, exposing Kingsley's network of corruption and the police's failure to protect a key witness. The public outrage was immediate. Protests erupted, demanding Kingsley's rearrest and an independent investigation. Under mounting pressure, authorities had no choice but to bring Kingsley to trial once again. This time, with national attention and undeniable evidence of his tactics, he was convicted. Jamal, now under witness protection, testified via a secure video link, ensuring that justice was served. Months later, Jamal started a new life in another city, far from the dangers of his past. Rebecca's investigative piece won awards for exposing systemic corruption, but she knew her work was far from over. Kingsley's case was just one in a long history of injustices. As for Angela, she never stopped fighting for her son's safety and the safety of others like him. Jamal had survived, but at what cost? His life was forever changed, and though justice had been served, the scars of fear and betrayal remained. The world moved on, but for Jamal, the memory of that night, the night he became the missing witness, would never fade.